First thing we want to go ahead and do is get a new sketch. Let's go ahead and put a circle on our page if that's what we're going to do here. And again, the goal is to get evenly spaced points around the circle. We'll label the points A and B. So the center is A, and so all those points there in pink now are all that circle is all equidistant from A. B is a point that will allow us to change the size of the circle. You'll notice I used the point tool to create a second point on the circle, and I changed its color so that we can keep track of where that original point B is. So all these new points we create will be black. You'll notice the center just kind of exploded there. We're going to mark it as a center of rotation. So we just want to twist this new point around the circle or rotate it around the circle so that we can get it evenly spaced. Now I chose 10 degrees, and if we think about it, 360 all the way around the circle. 10 degrees will get me 36 points around the circle, which will allow me to do a pretty tight curve. More would obviously be a tighter curve, and less would give us a more angled curve. You'll notice I'm rotating a single point 10 degrees at a time, but now if we kind of get smart about this, why not rotate all three, and then we'd rotate it 30 degrees and make it around the circle more quickly. Well, now I've got 6 points, 10 degrees each, so 60 degrees will rotate those points around the circle more quickly, and we can make some headway. Instead of doing 36 10-degree increments, we can kind of increase as we go. Now I've got 12 points, so 120 degrees. We'll get those points, and you'll see their image pop up before you actually hit rotate, and there they are after we hit rotate. And one more time ought to get us around the circle. So now I have all these evenly spaced points around the circle. We can begin making our curve. If we're not happy with the size of the circle, this is why we left B alone. And if you drag on B closer to the center, what that's going to do is rescale your circle, so depending on how big you want it. Now again, we want to connect segments in the same order. You'll notice that I just chose a random point to start with, and I said I think I'll skip 3 points. I'll go to the 4th point. And each time I'm doing that, I'm picking a point and going 4 points around the circle, and that's where I'll connect it to. And if I'm consistent with that all the way around the circle, I'll end up with a circle here inside using those lines. Well, again, just like the points, we could be smarter about this. We could rotate all of these 8 or 9 segments that I have here now around the circle, and then I'd make it around much more quickly. And so now if I rotate that, it'll show you where they're going to show up, and depending on how many I have will determine my angle. I think I had 8, so I'll go 80 degrees or whatever's written there. And so I get a lot more curves more quickly. Continue rotating on around the circle, and we end up with a circle inside the circle created from lines rather than that green circle, which was actually created with something like a compass. Well, the thing is, that stayed pretty tight to the circle. What would happen if I skipped more points in between? So let's see here. As I connect points here across, we start connecting our way around. Now again, we can be smarter about this, but I think you can see already that you're going to end up with the circle which is closer to the center of the original circle by skipping more points. I simply changed the color so that that would be a little bit more obvious. Again, be sure you're skipping consistent number of points. So I'm just going to go part of the way around the circle here. And again, this could take a long time. If you go all the way around, you're going to make 36 segments. So let's just select all of those and rotate them all at once. And you can see the circle in the center really begin to form. And again, you can see that kind of going 10 degrees gives us a fairly smooth circle. We'll do one more here just so we can see it. But what would happen if we skipped everything we could? In other words, don't go right through the center, but go one across from the center.